Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, as well as clicking that nice little notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to see more. Coming up in this episode, we have a look at the last 3 games of Magic Round in Brisbane for 2022 and 3 games highlights from the Super League to finish off this weekend's round. Well, there was all sorts of magic in the air in Brisbane as first the Magic Round Day 3 kicked off with 2 teams that are... one's plodding along quite nicely and the other one is desperately looking for results as the Cronulla Sharks faced the Canberra Raiders for our opening game on Sunday morning. The Sharks head comfortably into Magic Round, sitting comfortably in 4th spot and on a high after overcoming a sending off of Will Kennedy to down the Warriors last time out. And such were their composure and faith in their systems that they are rarely seen troubled in defence, despite the 12 men for the 63 minutes, and also going down to 11 men when Jesse Romain was sin-binned in the second half. On the other hand, the Raiders got back on track with a win over the Bulldogs, but know they need to go to another level if they are to make it 2 on the bounce. When these sides met in round 1 though, a late Hudson Young try gave the Green Machine, a 24 points to 19 win in Canberra against the Sharks. So here's the team news for both sides, as Nico Hines starts at fullback with Will Kennedy suspended and Braden Trindle the new halfback. Connor Tracy moves to the centres to replace Jesse Romain, who is also suspended after the match review committee pinged him for his, well, shall we say, clothesline. Cameron McInnes moves to lock and Dale Finucane to prop in the team named 60 minutes before kickoff. Aidan Tolman drops back to the bench. For the Raiders, Zach Wolford will start at hooker on his NRL debut after Adam Elliott was ruled out. Tom Starling will remain on the bench when Sebastian Chris replaces Jared Croker, whose shoulder injury in his first game back for the Raiders causes him to miss out in the centres. Xavier Savage joins the interchange bench and the only reshuffles to the side. So in just a small snapshot of the game, Canberra have recorded back-to-back wins for the first time this season, stunning an out-of-sorts Sharks side 30 points to 10 in Magic Round. Cronulla started the match creatively with a short kick-off working in their favour, but it was all one-way traffic against them after the Raiders raced out to a 20 points to 0 lead. The Sharks got back into the game with 2 second-half tries, but the Raiders lifted in defence with some spirited effort. Making the Raiders' performance more impressive, Ricky Stewart's side were forced to defend their line for 30 minutes with 11 on 12 after Shazney Nickel-Cluckstadt and Corey Horsburgh were both sin-binned for professional fouls. Tries for Sebastian Chris, Josh Papali'i and Corey Hawaranara inside 28 minutes took advantage of the ill-disciplined Sharks outfit, who conceded 4 penalties to relieve any pressure on the Raiders with the ball. Englishman Elliot Whitehead was then sin-binned for high contact on Dale Finucane, reducing the Raiders to 11 men on the field midway through the contest. The Sharks had no answer in attack throughout the match to take advantage, however, and lost without Nico Hines in the halves after moving to fullback this week with Will Kennedy missing. The Raiders got on the ball in the 5th minute through Sebastian Chris when he outleaped Sione Katoa in the air to get the ball down. Cronulla were their own worst enemies to give the Raiders more yardage with leg-up penalties, 4 of which eased into any pressure on the opposition. Canberra extended their lead through Raiders Harman Josh Papali'i when he crashed over the line from close range, courtesy from a pass from NRL debutant Zach Wolford. A clumsy high shot from Britain Nikora on Corey Hawara-Nara enabled the Raiders push their lead to 14 via a penalty goal. Hawara-Nara was then ensured the side got a 20-point lead when he finished off Sione Katoa's spill in a disappointing afternoon for the Sharks winger. The Raiders were forced to defend with a 12 after Nicol Klotstad was sin-binned for a professional foul in the 34th minute. Canberra were denied a fourth try of the afternoon during that period, with Jordi Rapana ruled offside from a kick. Cronulla lost Jack Williams to a shoulder problem to compound their loss, and Finucane failed a HIA assessment. The Sharks activated their 18th man after losing Finucane, given Whitehead was sin-binned for the professional foul that he received. The Sharks narrowed the lead to 16 through a try from Katoa out wide. Another try from the Sharks through Royce Hunt reduced the lead until Brad Schneider's effort late sealed the win and give the Raiders that 30-10 win in Brisbane. Now we head into game 2 of the Magic Round, as we see two teams that are going about their business quite quietly and doing quite well at the same time, as the Roosters face the Parramatta Eels. The Roosters will get their toughest test of the season on neutral turf as they go up against Parramatta. The Tricolours, fresh off a big 44-16 win over the Titans last time out, are about to enter an interesting 4-week block, which includes matches against the Eels today, the Sharks, Panthers and the Raiders away, and also without their origin stars during this period. Roosters coach Trent Robinson has urged patience over his Star-studded side and their attack. They delivered in spades with 8 tries in McKay that scored. However, they face no tougher task in the NRL as they face the Eels, who upset the Panthers and the Storm this year in big matches. Parramatta's question marks in recent years has been the ability to win on the big stage, and indeed they'll get no better opportunity to show that last week's 2-point win over the Panthers was not just a one-off achievement. A switch an hour before kick-off for the Roosters sees Drew Hutchison moved into the starting side at hooker and Connor Watson reverting to the bench in his return from a throat injury in the team news between the two sides. Siosua Takiaho has been promoted to the start for the suspended Lindsay Collins, with Daniel Fafita, the new man, on the bench. Lachlan Lamb is also in the squad as the 18th man. The Eels are 1-17 with no late changes, as Brad Arthur has gone with the same side who's got the job done against the Panthers last week. Jacob Arthur is the 18th man. Sean Russell made a successful return in the New South Wales Cup last week following rib and lung injuries, but will have to bide his time for an NRL return. For the match itself, the Roosters' young guns Sam Walker and Joseph Suaalii were at their mercurial best in the 31-24 win over the Parramatta. Walker scored a brilliant solo try and landed 4 goals and a field goal, while Suaalii grabbed a double as Trent Robinson's man chalked up their 6th win of the season. The Roosters made a professional start with big veteran Jared Warrior and Hargreaves throwing a dummy and bamboozling Regan Campbell-Gillard before carrying Reid Mahoney over the line to score in the 4th minute. Eels halfback Mitchell Moses put his stamp on the game in the 10th minute when he produced a superb show and go on the halfway to split the Roosters open before finding Isaiah Papali'i backing up on the inside to score their first points. 3 minutes later, it was the Roosters skipper Tedesco grabbing a try after chasing through a Walker Grubble, which was fumbled by Clint Gufferson. Tedesco was in the thick of the action again in the 16th minute, and when he was tackled without the ball by Tom Opicic. It was close to the try line, and the Eels centre was sent to the sin bin, which Walker landed a penalty goal to make it 14 points to 6. Having laid on a superb try for his skipper with the boot, Walker then did it all on his own with a brilliant chip and chase on the 25th minute, and Trent Robinson's men were out to a 14 points lead. Bailey Simonson looked to have pulled one back for the Eels, but he was pulled up for a double movement after a great cover tackle by Angus Crichton cut him down just short. With 10 seconds remaining in the first half, Walker calmly potted a field goal to make it 21 points to 6 at the break. Suali'i crossed early in the second half after good lead-up work from Luke Keary and Joseph Manu, before the Eels hit back through the rampaging Papali'i once again. 2 minutes later, the Eels were right back in the contest thanks to a superb individual try from Moses, which saw him scoot down the touchline and kick back inside for himself before getting a second kick on the ball and touching down to pull the Eels within 7 points. Ryan Matteson made it 3 tries in 10 minutes when he stormed over the Roosters, and the Roosters' lead was cut to just 1 point. Suali'i made it a double in the 62nd minute when he soared through the night sky to pull down Kiri's bomb, and the Roosters had steadied the ship at 29 points to 24. To put the finishing touches onto their performance, a high tackle by Dylan Brown on Siteli Tupouniua with 7 minutes remaining handed Walker the chance to knock over a penalty to make it 31 points to 24. And from there, the Roosters hung on for a valuable premiership points. In the game, it was Tedesco's 100th game for the Roosters as their skipper celebrated the landmark, and Mitchell Moses racked up 7 try assists across 3 years of the Magic Round. Jared Waheera-Hargreaves was placed on report in the 19th minute for a crusher tackle on Hayes Perham. And the Roosters lost hard-working lock Victor Radley to an ankle injury in the first half. Leading from the front, the Roosters had Jared Waheera-Hargreaves in game number 270, who put on a try, went forward 157 metres, and took up those 157 metres from 57 hit-ups. The Roosters have won 6 of their past 7 games against the Eel, but Isaiah Papali'i was a powerhouse for the Eels with 2 tries, 3 tackle breaks, and running for 166 metres. Joseph Suali'i has scored 5 tries in his past 3 matches, and the Eels' 5'8" Dylan Brown was placed on report in the 73rd minute for a high contact in Tupouniua. The Roosters' back row also left the field due to this, and it was for a HIA. But the victory was all the Roosters as they won 31 points to 24. Now we go to the close of Magic Weekend as we see 2 sides who were expected to struggle, but one is slowly going about his business and the other is near the top of the league, to be fair, as the 2 teams in question are West Tigers and the North Queensland Cowboys. It's the final match of a special event wrapping up round 10, with the Cowboys looking to extend their winning run against the West Tigers side that have taken a few steps backwards in recent week after putting 2 wins together. The joint venture, however, have enjoyed Magic Weekend more than any other opponents. More than their opponents that they faced this time, should I say. They've beaten the Knights and the Panthers in the past 2 concepts and despite the Cowboys well placed on the ladder, the Tigers have shown that they can spring an upset or two. North Queensland have been the surprise package of 2022, firing on all cylinders with halves Chad Thompson and Tom Dearden enjoying the freedom in attack behind the forward pack that is getting back to its glory days. The two sides have met on 40 occasions since 1998, with the Cowboys leading the head-to-head battle 23 points to 17, well 23 wins to 17. There were two close encounters between the sides last year, with the Tigers winning at Queensland County Bank Stadium in round 22. So, we go on to the team news. It is the West Tigers who have Junior Tupou making his NRL debut on the wing, and Tyrone Peachey comes into the centres after Oliver Gildart and Asu Kapawa were ruled out. Gildart with a calf, and COVID precautions for the Kapawa. Junior Pauga moves from the starting side to the bench on game day, with Peachey taking his spot in the starting 13. Luciano Leilua had been named on the bench to make his return against his future side, with Alex Seyfarth switching back to the bench with Thomas Michaeli, who has been ruled out with a head knock. Ken Muimalo will play despite failing a HIA last week. The Cowboys are 1-17 with no late changes. Hamiso Tabawai-Fidau will come off the bench for the third straight week, with the backline firing ahead of the West Tigers showdown. Jermaine Tanoa-Brown is the 18th man. So the opening points of the game came at the hands of the North Queensland Cowboys. But Magic Round was lit up because of this bitter skill. You may have seen it on social media all over the place, and I would like to bring it to you, but there's too many copyright claims in the actual video. What had happened was the Cowboys have started working the ball to the left wing, and the ball's got into the hand of Scott Drinkwater. He passed it out wide to Murray Talagi, who thought that he was in as the overlap was set, but rushing West's defenders were forcing Talagi out of touch. The main proponent of that was Jackson Hastings. He got over, thought he'd done enough to tackle the big winger and stop the play completely. Talagi must have been about 8 feet out of the pitch area, right in the corner, and he threw a wonderful pass around the left side of his body with his right hand as he's being tackled by people pushing into his right side of his body, and it fell, fortunately, into Scott Drinkwater's hands, and all that he needed to do was catch, run 2 steps and put it down. It was an amazing pass. 8 feet he must have been out of the pitch area. He had the red tram lines outside of the white boundary lines for the pitch, and he was past there, and he still passed it in to get Scott Drinkwater the try. It was an amazing bit of skill. Magic Weekend lived up to its billing with that one piece of skill. Unbelievable. This was before West Tigers debutant Junior Tupou flew high and snared a Jackson Hastings bomb to score the first try of his NRL career. With the Tigers up 6 points to 4 after Tupou's try, a mistake by Stafford Toaz from the kickoff and the high shot from Tyrone Peachey handed the Cowboys the chance to hit back straight away. And it was finished off with Tuolagi finishing off a sweeping left side move. A penalty by Ruben Cotter for a dangerous tackle on Tupou gave the Tigers field position, and they capitalised through Luke Garner, who slid into the corner. After halves, Jackson Hastings and Luke Brooks had combined superbly. The Cowboys then blew the game open with 2 tries in 2 minutes. The first through prolific winger Kyle Feldt and the second through Cotter, who ran 60 metres to grab his first 4-pointer of the career. Cotter runaway try capped off a powerful first half as he continued to press his claims for the Maroons' origin jersey. A huge blow for the Tigers happened when playmaker Luke Brooks was able to return for the second half due to a hamstring problem, and Toulouse looked to have stretched the Cowboys' lead with a spectacular try in the 46th minute. But replays showed his boot had just scraped the sideline. The Cowboys flyer needed just 4 minutes to make amends, scoring from a Chad Townsend grubber to make it 26 points to 12 as the floodgates threatened to open. In the 58th minute, Tom Dearden then laid on a try for Peter Hiku with a darting crossfield run and a pinpoint pass to the Cowboys centre. Try as they might, the Tigers could not crack the Cowboys' wall, and Jeremiah Nane, who had it was he that had the final say with a flying take from a Dearden bomb, and what was his 8th try of the season. With that, the final score was West Tigers 12, North Queensland Cowboys 36. So, Tigers winger Ken Moimalo was sent for a HIA in the 13th minute after high contact from Chad Townsend's tackle. Moimalo returned after passing his HIA during the game. Tigers hooker Jake Simpkins was taken from the field for a HIA in the 28th minute after getting his head in an awkward position trying to tackle Scott Drinkwater. Simpkins unfortunately failed his HIA. Cowboys prop Ruben Cotter went on report in the first half for a dangerous tackle on Junior Tupou. In a high-quality first half, the Cowboys completed 100% of their 18 sets, while the Tigers were 15 from 18, which is still 83%. You'd want it in the high 90s, but 83 is a good starting base. The Cowboys have scored 30 plus points in 4 games on the row for the first time in the club's 27-year history. Props Ruben Cotter and Jordan McLean had 27 runs between them for 318 metres and was the go forward for North Queensland. Junior Tupou was strong on debut for the Tigers with 6 tackle breaks and 89 metres running. And Kelma Tuilagi went on report in the final play of the game for a tackle off the ball on Kyle Feldt. It was very late. So this was the final result of the weekend, but not the ultimate result for the NRL. The Magic Weekend held a whopping bumper crowd across the 3 days, as the official attendance through the door was 130,122, an average of around about 44,000 for the 3 days individually. As much as I'd love to see about 80% of that attendance in following the Magic Weekend in Super League up at St James's Park, I know that we'd be best pushed at about 55% of that total. But it's a record since the inception of Magic Rounds, as the last biggest attendance was just shy of 39 people less. We now go on to the Super League, as there were 3 games on Sunday, should I say, which we will cover with the highlights. Those 3 games saw Toulouse take on their closest rivals in the league table, Wakefield Trinity, at the Stade Ernest Wallan, and the AJ Bell saw Salford Red Devils face the inconsistent but improving Leeds Rhinos in Rowan Smith's first game as coach, and the Castleford Tigers facing Hull Kingston Rovers at the Mendo's Jungle. And we're going to go through the games in the order that they finished, with Toulouse facing Wakefield Trinity being our first port of call. The teams have already faced each other once this season, and it was Wakefield who came out victorious, 18 points to 6 in that day. We have the team news as well, as Wakefield Trinity have Max Jowett at fullback, Reese Murphy on one wing, and Liam Kay on the other, so no Tom Johnson involved. Lee Gaskell and Mason Lino can continue in the halfback positions, and Kalepi Tanganoa, who's having a wow of a season, is in the front row. On the bench, Harry Bowes continues, with Jordan Crowther and David Fafita being the main goal forward from the bench. For Toulouse, there was a debut from the bench for Daniel Alvaro after his move from St George Illawarra. Corey Norman is yet to be involved in the squad, but we see Ollie Ashott-Bolt, Chris Hankinson come back into the side, and the halfbacks consisting of Tony Gigot and Lucas Albert. It's a very French squad, but Andrew Dixon is back in the forwards after missing out last time. It was Toulouse that got the ball rolling after a penalty on the 9th minute gave them a chance to go into the lead, and Chris Hankinson added the 2 points so that they could be 2-0 up. But it was Wakefield who got the first try after Mason Lino and Matty Ashall found the diving Murphy, who went over in the corner. The conversion was missed, unfortunately, which gave Toulouse the impetus to go back into the lead. And bouncing ball saw Ollie Ashott-Bolt using his strength and his momentum to bounce over the line and score the first try for Toulouse on the 30th minute, which Hankinson unfortunately missed. Wakefield came storming back though, and they went wide out to the right wing, and it was Liam Kay who got over on the right edge, which Mason Lino added the extras to level up the scores at half time. Toulouse then got the second try of the game after Matty Russell got over, and they added the extras with a penalty also being added by Hankinson on the 50th minute. The match swung back towards Wakefield, and it was Corey Hall who was fed into a gap, and despite the attentions of Bott, he got over the line. Unfortunately, the conversion wasn't added to. But after a 40-20 got Toulouse right in the Wakefield 20-metre line, Ollie Ashott-Bolt added an extra try to the scoreline to set them up for the win. Chris Hankinson added the extras, and the full-time whistle went for 20 points to 14 for Toulouse's second win of the season to move them within 1 point of Wakefield. The next set of highlights that I bring you are between Salford Red Devils and Leeds Rhinos, as Leeds Rhinos are coming to this with 2 wins under their belt over the last 2 games, but Salford Red Devils are getting a lot of plaudits as they never give up and nearly beat Wigan in the Challenge Cup and also St Helens in the league in the last 2 games, losing just by 6 points and 4 points respectively against the 2 previous top 2 in the table. So let's go into the teams and see who new coach Rowan Smith has picked for this difficult encounter. Zach Hardacre makes his debut at centre for Leeds Rhinos, with the return of some big names too. Richie Myler returns at fullback, with David Fusitua on the right wing, as well as Blake Austin in at the number 7 mark. He'll be joined by Cruz Leeming at the active halfback position. And the forwards consist of Zane Tetavano, Mikhail Edgelevsky, Reese Martin, James Bentley, hopefully he can stay on longer than normal, and Cameron Smith. On the bench it is a youngster in Sam Walters and Jared O'Connor, with James Donaldson and Bodine Thompson both completing the bench. For Salford, Dion Cross continues in the centre with Tim Li-Fi coming in this time, as there are not too many changes into the Salford starting lineup. Sam Luckley is in the forwards though, and Callum Watkins continues in the second row. Morgan Escaray is on the bench with Harvey Levette returning. King Vuniyayawa and Tyler Dupree, the new signing, faces one of his old clubs. It was Salford who got on the board first as a right-sided play saw Sneed and Croft link up with Dion Cross to find a gap for Ken Zio to score on the 10th minute. This was converted by Mark Sneed to push Salford's lead to 6. After a break by Harvey Levette and Tim Li-Fi, it found a gap for Joe Burgess to score Salford's second try, as they were very much on the ascendancy. Leeds came back though, after a left edge play found a gap from Reece Martin, whose looping pass out to the unmarked Ash Hanley gave them their first try of the Smith era. Reece Martin missed the kick unfortunately, so Leeds will still only have 4 on the board. Salford came back on the 32nd minute as a ball quickly to the left found Brodie Croft, whose grubber kick hit the post and found its way to the waiting arms of Andy Ackers, a man who's just recently signed a new contract. Sneed added the extras, and Salford were looking pretty as they went in at half time. Salford continued as they would on the 69th minute. After a Sneed drop goal extended Salford's lead, a pass back inside found Ryan Briley, who scored underneath the sticks for Sneed to convert for their 23 points. But Leeds had the last say, and it was one of their talisman for the last 2 seasons, Mikołaj Jalecki, who had enough pace and power and deception around him to get over the line. Martin unfortunately missed the kick, so it was 23 points to 8 in Salford's favour at full time. Now our final game is the highlights between Castleford Tigers and Hull KR. Hull KR have been on a downward spiral recently after, I wouldn't like to say with the Tony Smith announcement effect. I think it's more the fact that they're without key halfback Mikey Lewis. But they were nilled last time out against Leeds and lost in the semi-finals, so confidence was a little bit down. For Castleford Tigers, they have been a bit indifferent recently. Despite picking up wins along the way, they lost heavily last time out when they played Catalans in Perpignan and lost 14 points to 44. Let's get on to the teams. Starting with the Robins, we see Lachlan Coote has returned to the starting lineup and Will Dagger drops out to the 17 altogether. There is no place for Jordan Abdul as he picked up an injury last time out, and Bad Taka Rangi comes in as a makeshift standoff. Will Meyer and George King are the forward lineup, while Lewis Johnson and Jimmy Kinehorse come into the second row with Dean Hadley at loose forward. Matty Staunton, Jez Litton, Corbin Sims and Greg Richards are on the bench in support of the guys up front. There's a debut for the Tigers as Ryan Hampshire overcomes an injury that he picked up when signing for the club, and Darryl Alforts and Jason Curry are the wingers, as Castlefords continue without the prolific Greg Eden. Jake Truman and Gareth O'Brien are at halfbacks, while there's a place for George Griffin in the starting lineup and George Lawler as well, which sees Adam Milner drops to the sub-bench, who is joined by Nathan Massey, Daniel Smith and Suya Matagi to finish off the 17. As we go into the game, and it's Castleford that are first on the board, after George Griffin powers his way over the line to score the opening try of the game, which Gareth O'Brien kicks over from right in front. On the 24th minute, it is Kenny Edwards who ducks his way between two Hull KR defenders to score, which O'Brien adds the extras for 12-0. Not 2 minutes later after this, Castleford were in once again, as a great blindside move saw the ball thrown out to Darrell Elford, who passes back inside for Jake Mamo to score right to the posts. O'Brien adds the difficult conversion for 18 points to 0. And it got even better for Castleford, as Jason Carey scored to make it 22, and O'Brien added the extras for 24 points to 0. But then Jake Mamo intercepted the ball on the 48th minute going into the second half, but as Sean Kenny Dowell was chasing, he got a hamstring problem from what it looks like, but Mamo wasn't to be stopped. The final say of the game went to Castleford on the 68th minute, as they threw the ball to the left with some great movement, and Gareth O'Brien flinged out a massive wide out ball for Carey to get his second of the game. The youngster put the gloss on a fantastic win for the Tigers, as they won 32 points to 0. Now let's have a look at the league table after these 12 rounds. St Helens lead the way with 20 points after their win, a professional win last time out against Hull. Catalan's Dragons draw up to second place after their victory took them above Wigan Warriors, whose defeat at Huddersfield sees them climb the table to 4th place. Hull FC's defeat sees them back into 5th, while Castleford and Hull KR are both on 6 wins apiece from their 12 games. Then the Warrington Wolves, with their disappointing season, 5 wins from their 12 games. Salford, despite their win, are only just inside the top 10. Leeds, Rhinos and Wakefield Trinity are starting to look over their shoulder, as Toulouse are 3 and 2 points behind them, respectively, after their wins at home against Wakefield Trinity. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way soon. And tell me what your thoughts are of this weekend's matches. The Magic Weekend has done us a good service. There have been some excellent games and no shortage of skill. You see that pass? Unbelievable! Tell me what your thoughts are of the North Queensland Cowboys. They're doing so well. I think they're in 3rd place now. After last year's season to forget, you would have thought, nah, it would be consolidation mid-table. Still time for that to happen, so be happy that you're riding the crest of the wave. Anyway, Hull KR fans, are you a little bit fragile at the moment due to the fact that, well, your star halfbacks are both injured, your coach is leaving, and you've been nilled twice in 2 Super League games, and you're not in the final of the Challenge Cup? I'd have liked to see you there, to be honest. Leeds fans, is it the case of a new broom needs to be taken to the entire team? Or is there enough there that you think that they could move on to be better players? Or is it too soon to say, because it's week 1 of Smith being in charge? What else? Oh, Toulouse winning. 2nd win of the season. Hey, interesting fact, last year's relegated side Lee only had 2 wins all season, so they've already equalled that, which is good going. Hopefully they can keep the momentum going and stay up. We'll talk about other things, including Lee, in the future, as we've got to see them on Monday night. So I'll be reviewing that game on Tuesday for you. Anyway, Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. And also, I will leave you by saying, stay safe, I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next episode.